Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial we are going to be making the beanie hat for the cluster, I instantly forgot the name of it. The cluster Layette set. Yay for my brain working. Anyway, so let's just get into it. So this hat fits perfectly on my little mannequin. I have its head taken off right here. That I buy Granimal clothes from Walmart, the 0 to 3 month set. And she, my little mannequin here, fits perfectly into. So I will have pictures at the beginning of this video, but here is how the hat will fit on my mannequin, like I said, that fits into 0 to 3 month clothes from Walmart. Now, my hat measures from the widest point to the widest point, about 8 and maybe give or take a 1/4 inch. And then from the top to the bottom, 5.5 inches, give or take 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch maybe. All right, so I used in my hat Bernat Baby Sport from Walmart. I used the white and the blue, and if you are making this entire set, get 2 of each so that you do not run out, and make sure you have the same dye lot. Definitely on that blue. All right, and I used a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now I know this is a little larger hook than what we use throughout the rest of this Layette set, but this is what I used to get a decent fit on my mannequin's head for my tension. And then you're going to get scissors. You will need a stitch marker or something to mark a stitch, a needle to weave in your ends. And yeah, so a couple things I do have noted I want to talk about before we get started. And those are, you will hear my heater kick on and off behind me. There's nothing I can do about that. It's like -5 degrees 2 days ago, so it's still pretty cold. So I don't want to turn that off yet. So I apologize for that. And as well as my heater, you will also hear my lovely Mr. Churchy occasionally snoring behind me. I try to get him to stop, so I'm sorry for that. And the white yarn. That will not happen again. I apologize. I don't know why I even started the tutorial with this white yarn. I never thought about it. I've got, on an average day, I've got 50 different things running through my mind, and one of them that I did not remember was to not use white in a tutorial. So you will not see this white yarn again. Throughout this set, I will use a different scrap yarn. In the description box, there are going to be links for the matching cardigan, the matching booties, and the matching baby Afghan. So check out that description box. And then I want to also show you in the tutorial, I keep referring to the top of the stitch that we work into, the top of the cluster, as the long V, which is very hard to see in the white yarn. And I do eventually show you in the blue, but I want to show you before we get started with the white what you're going to be looking for. So if you notice the hat, each of the rows of the blue rounds of the blue clusters, the back of the clusters are facing us. All right. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to flip this inside out to show you when you're working and I tell you that you are going to single crochet into the long V of the cluster, the top of the cluster. What that means is, so when you're first learning to crochet, you learn that the top of the stitch, what you see is a little V shape, right? Well, you notice how there's a bunch of little ones and then a long one, a bunch of little ones and a long one. That's what we're looking for. These long V's, the top of the clusters. That's what we're going to work into. And this will make sense better whenever you are working the pattern when I, am showing you in the tutorial how to, work it. That's what you're looking for. And I realize that in the tutorial, the white is impossible to see. And like I said a second ago, I apologize for that. It's not going to happen again. But I wanted to just run that through real quick to show you that's what you're looking for. The big V's. That's the top of the cluster that you are going to single crochet into. Okay. And one more thing that I want to mention to you. I feel like I could have done a better job of explaining the cluster. So I want to take a second to show you. There's two types of clusters that we're going to work in this pattern. One is called the beginning cluster, and the other one is a 4 double crochet cluster. Both the same, just the beginning cluster is worked into the beginning of the cluster rounds differently. So each of your clusters is going to consist of 4 double crochets. So we yarn over, go into the stitch that I tell you to, which it depends if you're working the beginning cluster or any other cluster. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do that until we have the beginning of 4 double crochets. Don't pay attention to that chain right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 beginning of double crochets. So that's where the 4 double crochet cluster comes from. We have the beginning of 4 doubles. So we need 5 loops on our hook, 3 and 2, 5, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and that's our cluster. All right. I do explain it to you, but I want to make sure I give a good, decent explanation at the beginning of the tutorial before we get started, okay? So that is it. That is everything that I have noted that I want to talk to you guys about. And no, it isn't. If you want to make this bigger, so this is for a 0 to 3 month. If you want to go for a 3 month or 6 month, just go up to a 4 weight yarn, and then you can use like a 5 millimeter crochet hook, 5.5. If you want to go to 6 to 9 months, go with the 4 weight yarn, and then go to like a 6 millimeter, maybe a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. I don't know if I would go to, it depends on your tension. If you got a tight tension and you want to do a 6 to 9 month, then I would do the 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. All right, so get your guys' supplies together. I'm going to quit yapping. Let's get started. Okay, to get started, let's get our 4.5 millimeter hook and our blue yarn, and we're going to get a slip knot on our hook. And as always, make sure you have plenty of tail to weave in. I'm going to bring you guys in just a bit. All right, so to get started, we're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down to that first chain, and we are going to slip stitch right into there to create a little ring. So right in there. I'm going to get my fingers in there, and then I'm going to pull this tail to tighten down the chain that we just slip stitched into. And then I'm going to work around the tail and into the ring. We're going to work 8 half double crochet. So chain 1 and go right back in there for 1, and mark that first one if you need to. I know these half double crochets can be a bit of a bear to be able to find. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to pull that tail, tighten down that ring a little, and slip stitch to the first half double crochet. So right into the top of that first half double, slip stitch. And that's the end of round 1. And for round 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work 2 half double crochet into each half double all the way around. So we're going to go from 8 half double to 16. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my first half double again. And now just work 2 half double into each half double all the way around. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all of those, and I am going to finish mine off camera, and I will be right back. All right, I have repeated that around, 2 half double all the way around, and I know right there looks like another half double, but that's actually the slip stitch that we used to end round 1. So there's our slip stitch, there's our chain 1 right there, and then right here is the top of that first half double. So don't get confused with this right here, that's the slip stitch. So double check by counting your half double. You should have 16 half double. All right, we're going to slip stitch to the first half double right in there to end round 2. Chain 1, and to move on to round 3, we are going to half double into the very first half double, the exact same one we just slip stitched into. 1 half double, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then we're going to increase into the next. So 2 half double into the next. Half double into the next. And then 2 half double into the next. And that's what we're going to repeat around. So 1 half double, 2 half double, 1 half double, 2 half double into the next. 1 half double into the next. 2 half double into the next, and you're going to repeat that around, and you should end with 24 half double crochets. So I'm going to work mine all the way around, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have repeated that around, and if you can hear in the background, that's my heater running. It'll kick off in just a minute. All right, and you should have 24 half double crochet. So we are going to slip stitch to the first half double right in there. And that's the end of round 4, or I'm sorry, round 3. So we're going to chain 1 to move on to round 4. In round 4, we're going to work 2 half double into the very first half double. 1 and 2. There, it kicked off. All right, so I'm going to mark my first. Now we're going to half double into the next 2 stitches, the next 2 half double. 1 and 2. Now we're going to increase, or 2 half double, into the next. I don't know what the deal is, but it's like, so for the last few days it has been like negative 14 to 20 degrees, and today it's I think today it's like the high of 30 something, and I think everybody is just out running around and revving their engines going down the street, and it's like, good grief. Okay, so that's what we're going to repeat around. Increase or 2, half double into 1, half double into the next 2. I am getting tongue-tied and I'm starting to get annoyed at myself. Increase into the next, which is 2 half double into 1, half double into the next 2. And that is what we're going to repeat around. Increase into the next, half double into the next 2. We're going to repeat that all the way around, and we should end with 32 half double crochet. So I'm going to let you guys finish that. I'm going to get mine done off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so I repeated that around. I ended with a half double into my second to last and a half double into my last, and I have 32 half doubles. So for round 5, we are going to, well, to move on to round 5, we're going to finish round 4 by slip stitching to the very first half double, chain 1, and round 5, we are going to work 2 half double into the same half double that we just slip stitched into. So we're going to increase into the same one we just slip stitched into. Churchy. And now we're going to half double into the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to increase into the next. Half double into the next 3. Two half double into the next, or an increase. Half double into the next 3. And that is what we are going to repeat all the way around. And at the end of round 5, you should have 40 half double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine done off camera, and I will be right back. All right, so I repeated that around. I have 40 half double crochet, and we are going to end by slip stitching into that first half double right there. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. Pull that tail. Okay, so you can go ahead and weave in these ends if you want to. I'm actually going to save mine for when I'm done. But what we're going to do now is get our white, or whatever color you guys want to use. Get a slip knot on your hook. And I do want to say that I am using scrap yarn from designing the this hat we're making. So you are going to see a few little tails from my mess ups when I was designing this. But anyway, we are going to slip stitch right into that same half double that we just fastened off into. So go right back in there, slip stitch, chain 1. I'm going to pull that tail to tighten that up. Chain 1, and we're going to go right back in there with a single crochet. All right. So now we are going to chain 3, and we are going to work the beginning cluster. So once again, that is yarn over. We're going to go into the very next half double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go right back into that same half double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're going to yarn over, go into the next half double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next half double, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. Chain 1, come down and single crochet into the next half double. And we're going to repeat that again by chaining 3. Now I do like to work my chain 3s a little tighter than I normally would, just because I like to keep them not too loose for the hat, is what I want to say. I don't want them to be too much of a gap. So like in this one, my finished design, I don't want the holes to be too big. So this is a perfect example of the gap that I want. And I don't want it too big. Okay, so we're going to work that beginning cluster again. Yarn over, go into the next half double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go right back in there again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next half double, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the very next half double. Start that again by chaining 3, working our beginning cluster, yarn over, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go right back in there again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go to the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go to the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single into that next half double. And start it all over again by chaining 3. Now this, I'm going to keep with you guys working this round, but I am going to, I'm going to go a little bit faster now. So we're going to yarn over, pull up, pull through 2, go right back into the same stitch, and now we're going to go to the next half double and into the next half double. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the next half double. Start it all over again by chaining 3. Yarn over, go into the next, and we're going to go right back into the same one, and now we're going to go into the next and into the next. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, into the very next half double, single crochet. Start it all over by chaining 3. All right, so into the next half double, right back into the same one we just worked into the next half double, and into the next half double. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the next half double. Start it all over again by chaining 3. All right, yarn over, go into the next half double. We're going to do it again right into the same one we just worked into. Go into the next half double, into the next half double. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the next half double. Start it all over again by chaining 3. Go into the next half double, right back into the same one we just worked into. Now we're going to go into the next and into the next. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the next half double, Start it all over again by chaining 3, and we are going to work into the next half double, and now we're going to go right back in there again, into the next half double, and into the next half double. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the next. Start it all over by chaining 3. And you should have 1, 2, 3 half doubles left. And we are going to yarn over, go into the very next half double. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go right back in there again. Pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next half double. That did not feel right. Do that again. Yarn over into the next half double. Then yarn over, go into that last half double. Pull through 2, get 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and we are going to come down into this very first single crochet that we worked. So this stitch right here has the attaching white slip stitch, chain 1, and then a single crochet, which it's a little hard to see with this white yarn, and I apologize, but it's right here. And we are going to go right in there and slip stitch. Just like that. Chain 1, and we are going to turn. And this is I lost count in my pattern. Just a second, guys. I gotta mark off my rows. Sorry about that. I was getting lost in my pattern. All right, so now this is round 7. We just finished round 6. So what we're going to do is come right over to get your fingers in here, and this is the cluster that we're isolating, right? So if you look right at the top, can you see? I'm trying to give it a little bit of a shadow so you can see. But right at the top of that cluster is the long finishing of the cluster. So if you look, you know, the top of your stitch we call like the little V shape. If you look at the top of your cluster, there's a long V shape. And that's what we're going to work into. That's the top of the cluster. So come right over to the top of this cluster, and we're going to single crochet in there. Okay, so now I am going to mark that as the new beginning of our round. Just like that. And now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to come down, and into this chain 3 space, we're going to work our cluster. So we're going to work the 4 double crochet cluster by just going in and around the chain. Pull through 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Come down to the next cluster, isolate the top of that, find the top, there, can you see it right there? The top of the cluster is the long V. So it looks just like the top of any other stitch, it's just longer. And we're going to go in there and single crochet, chain 3, yarn over, and then around the chain 3 space we're going to work the 4 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. And now what we're going to do is add a cluster. So instead of jumping over to the top of the cluster, finding that long V, we are going to come down to this little single crochet right here, and we are going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and then we're going to work the cluster into the little space between that single and the next cluster. So that little hole right there is where we're going to work the 4 double crochet cluster. So yarn over, go right in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. And now we're going to come down to the top of this next cluster, find that long V, which is right there. I know it's hard to see with this white yarn. Right there. Single, chain 3, and now we're going to work our cluster like normal, the 4 double crochet cluster around that chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Give me some slack. All right, so now we're going to come down, single crochet into the next cluster. So find the top of the cluster, the long V, single crochet in there, chain 3, 4 double crochet cluster around that chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. So now we're going to work the increase again. So what we're doing is working 1, 2 clusters, increase, 1, 2 clusters, and now we're going to increase into that single crochet by single, chain 3, and now into the space between the single that we just single crocheted into and the next cluster. We're going to come right down there and work our 4 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Now we're going to come to the top of this next cluster, get in there and find that long V at the top and single crochet in there. Chain 3, work our cluster around that chain 3 just like normal. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. We're going to come down, single crochet into the top of that next cluster, and chain 3, 3, and again we're going to cluster around the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. So we've done, back to the beginning here, we've done, there's our very beginning single crochet. So here's 1, 2 cluster, increase, 1, 2 cluster, increase, 1, 2 cluster. Now we're going to increase into the single crochet. And so all we're going to do is work the single crochet, chain 3 cluster in this little area right here. So single into that next single crochet, chain 3, come down into the space between the very next cluster and the single crochet we just single crocheted into, and work the 4 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and now we're going to come down and single crochet into the long V at the top of the next cluster. right there. Chain 3, cluster around the chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and we're going to come down and single crochet into the long V at the top of the next cluster. Right in there. Chain 3, yarn over, and we're going to work the 4 double crochet cluster around that chain 3. Four loops on our hook, yarn over, pull, or I'm sorry, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. So we've done the, right here is our increase, 1, 2 cluster, increase, 1, 2 cluster. So that very next single crochet we're going to increase in. And by increase, I mean we're adding a cluster. So come down, single crochet into that next single, chain 3, and then into the space between the single that we just single crocheted into and that next cluster, we're going to work the 4 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. We're going to come down and single crochet into the top or the long V of the very next cluster. Chain 3, and then around the next chain 3 work the 4 double crochet cluster. 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1, get some slack, come down here and into the top of the next cluster we're going to single crochet, chain 3, around the chain 3 with our 4 double crochet cluster, 1 more, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and we should have 15 clusters. So the inside of our hat is what's facing us, and we have our beginning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so we are going to work 1 more cluster into that single crochet, the very last single crochet right here. So go in there and work your single, I said cluster, I'm sorry. We're going to work the single crochet into that single, chain 3, come down and into the space between the single that we just singled into and the very next cluster. We're going to come down in there and then work the 4 double crochet cluster. 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Now we should have 15 clusters. I'm looking at the hat I designed to make sure that is correct. Okay, now we are going to single crochet into the cluster that we have marked right here. So come down there. I'm sorry, not single crochet. Why did I say that? Slip stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to turn. Okay, so what we're going to do now is come right to the top of this next cluster, the very first cluster right here, and we're going to single crochet right into the top of that, right there. The long V is what we're looking for. And if you can't exactly find that long V, it's not a huge deal, okay? You can just single crochet into the top of that, mark it, and that is the beginning, or the new beginning of our round. All right, so what we're going to do for this round, this is round 8, we are going to work 2 clusters, 1 increase. Oops, I just kicked something under my desk. So by increase, I mean the 1 single crochet and then the cluster into that space. And then after that, we are not going to be increasing anymore. After that, we're going to be working normal clusters. Okay, so we have our single crochet. So now let's chain 3. And we're going to come down and into the chain 3 space, work our cluster, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, I caught a strand, pull through all 5, chain 1, come down to this next cluster, find that long V at the top, right here, single, chain 3, we're going to come down and into the next chain 3 space, work our cluster, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1. Okay, so now we're going to add 1 more cluster to give us 16. So we're going to come down into that very next single crochet, single, chain 3, and then into the space between the very next cluster and that single crochet, we're going to work our cluster. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. That is the end of adding a cluster. So what we're going to do for the rest of this round, single crochet into the long V at the top of your next cluster. See it right there? Don't focus on my hook, please. Right there. We're going to come down, single crochet into there, chain 3 into the chain 3 space, work our 4 double crochet cluster, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, jump to the next cluster, find the top, which is that long V. I am going to attempt to do something. I want to give myself a shadow on my work, which is a little hard to do with the lighting and everything. Yeah, it's not working. It's right there, the top of that V, that long V shape right there. See it? That's where you're going to single crochet, chain 3, V-stitch around the next chain 3, or V-stitch. I am so sorry. I don't know why I just said that. 4 double crochet cluster around that chain, the very next chain 3, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, come down, single crochet into the long V at the top of the next cluster, and then repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to let you guys work that. Okay, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more times, and at this last cluster I will come back and we will finish this round, and we should have 16 clusters, and we will not be adding any more clusters after that one, okay? So go ahead and just repeat what we've done. Single into the top of the cluster, chain 3, which I like mine to be a little bit tighter, come down and work the 4 double crochet cluster around the chain 3. Pull through all 5 loops on your hook, chain 1, single crochet into the top of the next cluster, chain 3, repeat that all the way around, and I will be back whenever I get my round done. Okay, so I have repeated that around and I am at the last cluster. I single crocheted into there, so I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3. All right, into that chain 3 space, work my last cluster. Oh, for Pete's sake. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and I am going to slip stitch into the single crochet I have marked with my stitch marker. Chain 1 and pull up a loop, because we are actually going to change color now. Pull this through, pull that tight, and we're going to turn. Here's these extra tails I was telling you guys about because I'm using my scrap yarn. All right, so now we're going to go to the blue. Get a slip knot on our hook. Make sure you have plenty of tail to weave in. And into the same stitch that we slip stitched into. So if you look right there, so here's my tail, right, for that I just cut. I'm going to pull this to the left, and that little hole right there is where we're going to attach with the slip stitch. Chain 1, and I'm going to pull that tail tight. All right, now what we're going to do is come right over to this first cluster right next to us. Go into the top of it, and we're going to single crochet. And that is our new beginning. Okay? Chain 3, cluster around the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through 5 loops. Come down, single crochet into the top of the next cluster. And that is all we are going to repeat all the way around. Chain 3, yarn over, cluster around that chain 3. 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Come to the next cluster, find the long V at the top, single crochet, chain 3, cluster around the chain 3. 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1. Jump to the next cluster, find the long V, and we're going to single crochet, and then I'm going to stop because I want to show you with this blue. You can see perfectly what I'm talking about when I say the long V. That is the top of the cluster that we work into each time. And I will say that starting my whole tutorial for this entire Layette set, I have learned that I am not going to be able to use this white, which I should have known from the beginning, and I apologize for that. I will not be using the white and blue anymore throughout this tutorial, or throughout this series, I'll say that. I will be using a different color and a different yarn. But anyway, so back to what we were doing. Yeah, so that is what you're going to repeat all the way around. And I will meet you at this last cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and get my blue round, and I'm going to have all these tails weaved in too. The inside of your hat should be facing you. So whenever you put the hat, hold the hat like it'd be on the baby's head, the back of all of our work of the blue round is what's going to be facing to the outside. So just like this. So all of the blue, the back of the clusters are what's facing the outside. All right, so go ahead and finish this round, and I will get mine done, and I will be right back. All right, so I worked that around. I have one more cluster to work, so I'm going to single crochet into the top of this last one, chain 3, and I'm going to come down and work my 4 double crochet cluster. Five loops, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, come down, and the first single crochet I have marked, slip stitch into there, and we are only working 1 round of blue, so I'm going to fasten off. I'll weave in that tail later. And now we turn our work so that the black of the blue, the back of the blue is facing us, and then we're going to bring in our white, and just like we did, ooh, I may not have enough, just like we did with the where is the end, with attaching that blue, we're going to do the same thing with the white. So I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. Again, as always, make sure you have plenty of tail to weave in. And I'm going to come right where the slip stitch is on the blue, that gap right there. I'm going to pull it to the left and go right into that hole with the slip stitch to attach my white. Pull that tail tight, chain 1, and I'm going to come to this first cluster, find the long V at the top, and I'm going to single crochet right into there. And that is my new beginning, so I'm going to mark it with my stitch marker and start the pattern. Chain 3, cluster around the chain 3 space. Remember, I like to do my chains on the hat tighter than normally. 4 double crochet cluster around the chain 3. There's 3, 1 more, 4, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, come to the next cluster, find the top, the long V right there, single crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochet cluster around the chain 3, or into the chain 3 space, however you guys like to refer to it. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. Pull through all 5 loops, chain 1, come to the next cluster, find the top, which is the long V right there, single, chain 3, 4 double crochet cluster around the chain 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, what am I doing? Why did I do 5? We only need 4. And we're going to yarn over and pull through the 5 loops on our hook. Chain 1. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around until we get to the stitch marker. And then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to, move on. So basically what we're doing is the same row, cluster into the chain 3, chain 1, single into the top of the cluster, chain 3, cluster around the chain 3. All we're doing is from now on is repeating that round. The only difference is changing color after 3 rounds of white. We're changing to the blue. So we have 1, 2, 3 white, blue. 1, 2, 3 white. 1, 2, 3 white, blue. 1, 2, 3 white, blue. 1, 2, 3 white, blue. The only difference is how we're ending that round. With the white, all we're going to do is work the pattern around, slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 1, turn. I'll show you guys, but I'm going to work this round and I'll come back and show you. All right, so I've worked that around and I've come to the last cluster, which I went ahead and single crocheted into, chain 3, around the last chain 3 with the 4 double crochet cluster, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and to end the round we're going to come down to the single crochet that we have marked, slip stitch, chain 1, and then turn, and now come to the left, the very first cluster, single crochet into the top of that, and there's our new beginning. So that is how we start the round that we're not fastening off. Does that make sense? So the blue round, you know, like if we were ending the white, we would just slip stitch, chain 1, pull up a loop, cut, turn our work, attach with a single, you know, go into the top of the next cluster. There's our new beginning. So when we're not changing color, we slip stitch into the one that we have marked with a stitch marker, chain 1, and then turn, and then single crochet into the top of the next cluster, and then we just keep working the pattern just like normal. So we have the single, so we chain 3, come down to the chain 3, work our cluster, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, come to the top of the next cluster, single, chain 3, 4 double crochet cluster around the chain 3 or into the chain 3 space, however you want to refer to it as, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, and that is what you are going to repeat, working the the color pattern. So we already have our first row of blue and 2 white, so we're going to work 1 more white, switch to blue, 3 white, and on this last round of blue I will come back and we will finish off the hat together, okay? So if you guys need any help at all, do not hesitate to email me and ask. My email address is in the description box, and I will help you the best I can, okay? So go ahead and work your hat, finish this second round of white, then go on to the third round of white, fasten off, attach your blue just like I showed just like I showed earlier, for Pete's sake. Get my words out. And work 3 rounds of white, and I will come back on the last round of blue. All right, so I will be right back. Okay, so I worked the last round of my white, and I've got my 2 rounds of blue, and we're getting ready to start the last one. So I slip stitch to my first single, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. And now, get everything out of the way. Let me get the blue on my hook with the slip knot. And as always, make sure you have plenty of tail to weave in. So I'm going to pull out that yarn and I'm going to turn and take the white tail. I'm going to hold that to the left. And then I'm going to go into the stitch that we slip stitched into. Attach with a slip stitch. Pull that tail tight. Chain 1, and I'm going to come over to the top of this very next cluster and single crochet, and that is the new beginning of our round. So I'm going to mark that. Chain 3. And then continue with this round like normal. That's 3. One more. For 4. Pull through all 5. Chain 1. Single into the top of the next cluster. Chain 3. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. Sounds like there's a cat outside. Pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I messed that up. Start that over again. Okay, so you guys know how to work this round. I'm going to let you finish this, and then I'm going to get mine done off camera. And then when I come back, we're going to finish our little hat. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I worked that all the way around, and I'm going to come down and slip stitch. Ah, wait a minute. I got messed up somehow. Slip stitch, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. So now I've got some ends to weave in, but Churchy over there snoring. I had to wake him up. Let me hide these tails, and then you can see. Do you mind, Churchy? Dang. Let me pull you out, and you guys can see the whole hat. Actually, let me get my mannequin here. I don't think his head comes off. I guess, well, it does twist. Maybe it does come off. Super long bolt. And I will show you what the hat looks like on my mannequin. Now this mannequin does fit into 0 to 3 month Granimal clothes from Walmart, which that's always what I buy it when I do buy it clothes. But here it is. Oh. It looks awesome. Oh, I'm so happy. Let me show you this side without all those tails. So here's where his little eyes would be. Hey, would you quit, please? Dang. But there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Like I said, I apologize for the white yarn. I knew better. I don't know why I did that, but I am sorry. Won't happen again. I promise. I'm going to put a big old sticky note on the wall over there for every time that I film that says in all caps, do not use white yarn. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next, because I have a whole bunch of stuff coming. And in the description box will be the links for the matching cardigan, the booties, the baby blanket, and I believe that's it. Yes, we have the beanie, we have the cardigan, the booties, and the baby blanket. All right, so check out that description box. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment and let me know what you guys thought of this video and this project, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.